Okay, are we gonna stop? Are we gonna stop, guys? You're wasting your own time, not mine. Okay, so we're going to look at the assignment itself and what we need to do. So you are doing a report. So it's one assignment for this module. A single assignment, it's worth 100% of your grades. So the due date is the 13th of May, and it's 4,000 words that we have to do. Okay? Now, sorry. The background of the assignment, it says that businesses are challenged with the changes in their environments and are therefore required to make necessary adjustments in areas such as strategy, finance, digitization, operations to remain competitive, meet the needs of their stakeholders, and to keep abreast with the trends in the industry. One such organization is BMW. In order to accomplish its mission, which is moving body, heart, and mind, its leaders have been focusing on two major mega trends. So they have been focusing on digitization as a strategy and sustainability. So these influence how the motor vehicle industry has been transforming in the 21st century. So we know what's happening with the vehicle industry, where everybody's going electrics and the cars are all full of gadgets. Everything's buttons, sensors, computerized, and it's all about sustainability as well. So we're talking about how do we reduce emissions and how do we protect the environment a lot. So the businesses are not only pressured by the government, but consumers alike are a part of the pressure group. So the motor car industry has transformed a lot from what we know back in the day. So BMW is one such organization, and their main focus is about digitization and about sustainability. Now, your assignment task, it says, using relevant information. So this information will come from the company's account, so BMW's account, their reports, site visit, presentation, press releases, news media, whatever you get information, wherever from, you need to prepare a report about BMW's business success. So you're focusing on that specific company and you're looking at their success. So the fact that I have to think about finance, remember those 5 areas? I have to think about finance. It means I need to access their annual accounts. I need to know what's happening in their profit and loss accounts. I need to be able to understand customers' review. That will give me measurement in terms of qualitative aspects. I need to know what their strategy is. I need to read their yearly statement from the CEO, and that will give you a lot of insight into where they're heading as a business. Customers' feedback, reviews, social media posts, anything you can get information from that suggests this is how the business is performing. Okay, your job is to measure their success. Okay, is that clear? Yes, no? Okay, so you are writing a 40,000 words report that critically evaluates BMW's business success through the transformation of its information system in the 21st century and how the available data is utilized to determine the firm's financial and non-financial success for the previous year. So you need to research. We're now in 2026, so we're looking at their performance last year, 2025. So whatever data you can get out there on their performance, you have to gather that and you're measuring the success of that previous year. Now, we need to research what's the latest annual account that they've published. Now it's February. Some companies may not publish their accounts before June for last year. And some may have published it in December last year. You need to research when did they publish their last financial account. Whatever date is the last published one, that's the one you need to use to talk about their success financially. Okay? Because if it's not yet been published for 2025, we can't talk about it. If it's only 2024 that's there financially, then that's what you have to use to measure the financial success for this company. Okay? Is that clear?
Regarding the accounts, BMW is an international business, and sometimes the reports show performance overall, so for the whole business international.
Well, because you're in the UK, the government in the UK requires all companies to publish their account. So you've got to focus home.
On the UK.
On the UK, you're focusing in your home country because you've got access to that data.
Yes.
We don't know what's happening in Germany. We can't even read it.
Yes.
Yeah? So we're focusing here in the UK. Everything is about the UK when you write about this company. Right? So you look at their financial accounts, look at their performance in the UK. Now remember, for the success, we're not just looking at finances. What else are we looking at? Marketing, operations, strategy, finance, people. So you're covering those 5 areas when you're doing this, measuring their performance. So when you do an assignment, there are 3 things that CASE teaches us to focus on. You focus on the context, you focus on your instruction, and of course, focus is essential. So what's the setting, what's the background you need to consider, and what's your instruction verb. So the context, our assignment is based on BMW. The assignment is asking us to critically evaluate, and the focus of the assignment is looking at the information system. We have to assess all data that we have available to ourselves. We have to look at the financial and the non-financial success, and it's all about the previous year. Okay, so we're looking at last year's information. So we put those 3 together and we know exactly what the assignment is about. Okay, so there's a standard layout that you can follow. You're not actually bound by it, but it gives you a bit of structure as to how to undertake it. So it's a 4,000 words report, so it's quite big, so we expect you to have an executive summary. So it's like measuring success assignment is like a mini research project because you have to collect data yourselves, okay? So just think about it like it's just a small version of my 086. So you've got your executive summary, you've got your introduction, then you get into the bulk of it, which we have to do discussion, analysis, and evaluation. And I've put these in steps on the PowerPoint slide for you to follow. Then you have your conclusion, your reference list, and you have appendices, and these are optional. But it usually helps you to use the appendix. So for example, if you've captured the profit and loss account of BMW, you can actually put in the appendix, and then you say, see appendix 1 for the P&L account, where I got this profit margin from, okay? So you can use that to your advantage rather than put it in the bulk of your report and make it too long, too many words. Then you use your appendices to your advantage. So your executive summary, what exactly that entails. Now you've done research. This is nothing new to yourselves. So we're providing that summary where we look at an overview of the report itself. So you're telling us what are the approaches you took, what are your findings, what are your recommendations. So it's a mini um, journal article that you would have prepared. So in the assignment, you have your introduction. Now there are 4 areas that you cover in the introduction. You tell me what your purpose of this report is. What's the context? So here you're talking about the, sorry. Do you want to come down? Because you just keep talking. Do you want to change your seat? So you talk about the context, so the organization, so you know we're covering BMW as an organization. Then you talk about what sorts of theories, what sort of tools you've used in the assignment, and then how did you collect the data? So remember I said it's like a mini research project you're doing for measuring success. So how did you get the data? You're going to be talking about that. Were there any limitations, any challenges you faced? You put that in the introduction itself for your project. Then we get into the detail of your assignment. So I've broken it down into different sections. So the first part, you need to talk about the factors of the organization's success. So this is where you introduce the company, you tell us about what industry it is operating in, how big it is, where it's located, what's its position in the marketplace. Okay? How are the different factors, how are they performing in the different areas? So those 5 areas that we talked about, marketing, marketing, strategy, people, all those 5 areas we talk about, where are they now with that? Okay? So you look at those 5 factors and you're showing us that you understand the factors of success for a firm. Okay, so that's an overview, the success of the business. So these are the areas. I've put it in the slide as well. So just remember to include these when you talk there. Then the second part of it is you need to do an assessment and an evaluation of the transformation of their information system and their digital technology. So remember we talked about the strategy for BMW. It covers digitization and sustainability. So you are looking at BMW and you're trying to look at how that transformation has taken place through that method that they're now focusing on. So you start out by explaining the importance of information systems, the importance of having sources of information, the importance of technology in modern firms. What roles do they play in helping us to make decision making in those organizations? Now, I have broken it down. So if you basically answer all these areas, you are good to go. The next bit says provide detailed explanation of specific information system that they use. So you need to research what sort of information system BMW uses. How do they source their information? What sort of technologies are they using? These are the things that make them successful. Now, there are different types of system that businesses use. So you have systems like CRM, ERP, all these systems we will learn about. Talk about the functions of the systems, what sort of data they collect, and how does that information impact the success of the firm. Okay, so all these factors are there. Now, in your slide, there's some questions for you to consider to answer the previous thing that we've just looked at. Now, questions to consider, what I have put it as is a footnote on the slide to yourselves. Okay, so this is like what I put to teach you, but I've put this information at the bottom of the PowerPoint for the launch slides. So you need to be able to answer the question, how important is information system for the business? How does it help them to make decisions? You can also think about how is the strategy for that organization connected with their information system? How is their strategy connected with their technology? And you must make reference to their mission. So remember, we looked at the mission, which is moving body, heart, and mind. And you're looking at the link as well to their strategies, which is digitization and sustainability. So you have to show a link when you're doing this assignment. How does the IT system facilitate collecting, storing relevant data for their performance? So this is just me breaking it down further for you, and I'll put it as a footnote on your slides for you to follow. Okay? So where I have questions to consider, you're basically covering the previous slide, but it's just me breaking it down for you to help you a bit more. So this is the other task, point 3. You need to analyze the application of decision-making techniques. So by this, we need to identify different decision-making techniques such as ERP, CRM, what are their functions, what they collect, and how do they support different departments in that company. How appropriate are these decision-making techniques in helping them to control activities and to achieve successful outcomes? And you also need to recommend decision-making techniques that would help the business to achieve its objectives and its strategies. So we'll learn about all the different techniques. You will understand them. Once you know them, then you need to identify which of these techniques BMW might be using. How are these techniques helping the business to be successful? If you think there's another technique that would be better for them, then you recommend that technique. Okay? So don't worry if you don't know them now. We will go through them. Now, these are some examples of the techniques that we will cover. Techniques in terms of decision making comes from SWOT analysis, it comes from balanced scorecard, decision trees, peer reviews, 360-degree feedback. These are examples of the techniques. So you need to assess which of these BMW might be using. And then you think about if they're not using, for example, they're not using management by objectives, which we call MBO, do you think MBO would be a good technique for them in terms of helping them to make decisions? Okay. So you look at those, and then how have they contributed to the business controlling activities and measuring what they do on a daily basis? You also need to think about any challenge that they face while using such techniques. So say, for example, you talk about a SWOT analysis. What are the limitations of a SWOT analysis? So you bring that into your argument. Now, step 4, you analyze how the firm uses the data from its information system to measure their financial performance. So this is where your balance sheet and your profit and loss account comes into play. You have to access it because you need to calculate certain things in terms of their profit margin. You've got to calculate their return on investment, and you're using those figures to determine how successful the business is. Okay? So remember, we're looking at the financial aspect and we're looking at the non-financial aspect. So you need to access those accounts. It showcased that they've made profit last year. What exactly allowed them to make that profit? Was it just a sale of the vehicle, or is it the aftercare service? Where did they get that profit from? What was the return on investment for the company? All of that you will get from the balance sheet. Some of them you have to calculate because it's not written in black and white. So you'll get some formulas, how to calculate it, and you've all guys, you've done finance as well. So that helps. So what you do is look at the performance on the balance sheet and you compare it to the previous year. Are they doing better or is it worse? Why do you think it is so? So everything you do in your modules, you have to think about theories. So what sort of theories will help you to answer those questions? And again, I've broken it down. We can ask yourself these questions, which you can go through later. Now, the other one is to look at the non-financial success for the business. How did they become successful through non-financial measures? So we're looking at the non-financial measures such as customer satisfaction, employee performance, operation efficiency, as well as sustainability. So what suggests that the firm is successful based on customer satisfaction survey? It could be reviews on online. It could be employee feedback and the company has reported it, or you've seen it on the internet. So you're using that to assess their success for last year. So here you need to get some examples to support your evidence. Okay, and this again, I've just broken it down into questions for you. And then the last part of it is your conclusion. So at the end of it, after doing all that research, you need to evaluate how effective the system is at BMW for its decision making. Okay, is it effective or not? What are the limitations or challenges they have faced using the systems, and what recommendations would you make to improve? Okay, and you justify that. Yeah, sounds like a lot, yeah? But once we start doing the theory, you understand all these concepts. And what you're doing is looking at that company and you're assessing how are they doing in terms of performance in all the areas that we've talked about. So you're grouping it. So when we refer to the term information system, we're not just looking at IT itself. Information system looks at the holistic approach that the company takes towards its success. Everything that it has in place for its operation and its performance, we refer to it as information system for this module. Okay, so these again, this is just suggestions how to close your assignment. So you have a reference list and you have an appendix that you follow if you choose to use an appendix, and the rest of it basically looks at the grading. So it's broken down into 25% for each section. So the first section is worth 25%, the next section 25, the other 25 until you get to that 100%. Okay. Now this is telling you where you can access detail or material for that company. So it's from anything from your theory that we've learned, resources from the industry, statistics, news items. You actually follow UCB's structure for writing reports. It's on your assignments. You just click that link. It tells you everything. You know, you can use your referencing guide. It's the same thing you used as last semester. AI, please. I've marked so many assignments with AI usage, and it's crazy how people are using AI and it's affecting your grades. Please remember, AI is just for you to read and understand. Do not put back AI in your work because it's messing up your grades at UCB. Okay? So you've got the library, you've got the case department, you've got DICE, all of that where you get help. Any questions? I've got one more thing to do. We've got 7 minutes. Any questions? Now, you need to start from day one, start looking at the assignment to see what you, sorry, what you have to do. Now, the thing is, you will be going on a trip to the industry because you need to pick up, collect data. Trying to find it now. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right, let me finish, please. Let me finish. I'm not yet finished. Hello. Now, guys, listen. Listen. Right. So, in order for you to gather evidence about this, I will be taking you to the BMW plant in Oxford, right? So, that's for you to gather some evidence towards this assignment. So, we will be going there. It's on the 23rd of March. It's already booked. It's already paid for. 104 students been paid for. So, you need to put in the diary. It's the same. It's a Monday. Yeah, just like today. So we will go to the BMW plant. It's actually the mini plant that they have in Oxford. Guys, listen. So BMW itself, as a group, the mini is actually a part of that group. Okay, so we go to the factory where they make the minis for you to actually see the operation of BMW. Okay, we will be able to visualize, look at the marketing, look at different things to help us take pictures of different things that you've been to, look at to gather that evidence. So you physically go there on the 23rd. Now, on that day, we will also, because it's such a large group, and the BMW, they take small groups of students into the sections, into the area that they want you to see. So we have to divide you into groups. So because we're going to be there for so long to get through all the groups in, we have to use our time where some of us will be at different places at different time. So on the day, we're booked to go to the Ashmolean Museum as well as Bicester Village itself. So on the trip, I will be going, David Butterton and Zahira, I said Zara, but it's Zahira. Zahira will be going as well. Right, so guys, it's the 20th of April. It's not April, sorry. It's March. I got that date wrong. We will leave 7:30 in the morning. Okay? So we will have coach. Guys, listen, we will have 2 coaches. And it takes us, listen please, it takes us to Oxford and back, okay? So remember, on trips, you provide your own food, your own meal. So we pick up at 7:30 here, go to 3 locations, and we come back at 7 in the night. Back on campus, 7 in the night. Guys, so we put in 2 groups. So one set of students, we're going to group 1. So that set of students, we leave here at 7:30. We go to BMW at 9:40. That's the time it's booked for the visit. It's 100 minutes visiting time. We have to get there at least 15 minutes before the visit time starts. After you finish, the coach picks you up and take you to the Ashmolean Museum for 12. And then 2:30, it picks you up and take you to the Bicester Village. Okay? So you spend 2 hours in the village. It's quite big. If you got a lot of money, you can shop, do whatever you want there. It's very expensive. And then we leave there, but it's Oxford. Remember, guys, it's Oxford. We won't get the price like Bullring. It's Oxford. Remember. So we leave there at 5, and then we get back here at 7. Guys, if you're in group 2, we leave the same time, but you go to the museum first for 10, then the coach picks you up take you to BMW for 12. Guys, are we listening? Yeah? Once we leave BMW, so we spend that 100 minutes there, and then it takes us to the village. So everybody will be at the village for the 3 o'clock session. So we meet, you can have food, different things, and then the coach picks us up at 5, sorry, and we're back here at 7. Guys, now the same thing for the trip consent. You need to fill this out. Without this, we can't go. So the consent form, that's the QR code, that's the link. Just take the link down. So just take a picture of the link if you can't scan it. And guys, you need to fill it out, please. Now, if you choose not to go,
I'm really sorry, I won't make it just like from the previous trip because of where I live.
the time.
Would there be a possibility to meet you at the factory? I could make my way there and meet you for the.
Is it nearby?
Pardon?
Is it nearby? You live in
I don't, but just because
take a train there instead of coming
take a train or just find a way to get there without come to Birmingham. I couldn't make it by 7:10.
We can talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah? Who else had their hands up? Well, it's your assignment. So if you choose not to go, don't blame me. Just take a picture of that. Right, any more questions? And then we break. We need to go. Technical error. I'll look into it. I don't know. Maybe it's not released, but I'll look into it for you. Yeah? But it's just telling you about it now. Next week we can sort the consent out. Don't worry. But this is what we have to do. Right, so guys, just remember to be on time for it. You've got to have your ID on you to go on the coach. No alcohol, no vaping, no smoking in certain areas. Make sure you wear appropriate clothing. Be respectful. Right? Let's go to the seminar.